Hi, everybody, and welcome to the St. Mythbehavin podcast. There is no new episode this week. We're taking a break for the rest of the summer, and we'll be back with new episodes on September 26th. But just so you don't forget that we exist, and also to put some content out there, and also to remind you that we have a really cool Patreon, we have decided to unlock the Patreon vault and release an episode of our Patreon exclusive sideshow, Ain't Mythbehavin, to you. So this is a full episode of Ain't Mythbehavin, not just like the clips that we put out there sometimes. So please enjoy this episode about Noah. We think you'll really like it. And if you do like it, please subscribe to our Patreon. There are new episodes of Ain't Mythbehavin every month, including during this break. So you can check that out. And they're very fun episodes where we flip the script and I tell Anna about some kind of ancient mythology. And this time I'm talking about the ancient myth of Noah from the Old Testament, etc. So yeah, I hope you like it. And please stay subscribed. And if you have a chance to rate, review, this is a good opportunity to catch up on old episodes while we're on vacation. But we will be back with more amazing and miraculous saint content for you on September 26th. Thank you for being such great listeners. And yeah, take care. Have a great summer and have a blessed day. Bye. Everybody, welcome to Ain't Mythbehavin, the podcast about legends from people who are. I am your host, Matthew Shadorn, and I am joined, as always, by my vestigial tale, Anna Domini.
Wow, that's a new one.
You know what? I just feel like in the sideshow, you're just...
Yeah, there's no purpose for me because I'm not the researcher. So, but you still can't call me your friend, so I get it.
It's just, I just don't want to lie to the audience about the nature of our relationship.
Fair enough.
Which is purely professional in the sense that... And not even really professional because there's not...
Now you're making it sound like we're fucking or something.
No, I mean, it's not...
You're just like digging your way into it all.
No, I would say it's purely professional, except there's no money involved, so I don't even know what the term is for this relationship is.
If anything, then that would make it a purely voluntary, but that's the impression you don't want to give because, that's too close to friend.
I guess, a voluntary relationship just does sound like a friendship.
Yeah.
But it's somewhere in between friendship and not. It's more like, I guess a voluntary relationship in the sense that sometimes people take like food to the unhoused,
Or it's sounding more like you think of this as like when people make phone calls to the elderly because they're alone.
That's also part of it. Yeah, that's it. It's just your family reached out to me and they're like, could you talk to Anna once a week about, it doesn't matter.
Just to give Danny a break.
Doesn't matter. And also if you could give her a little job to do, they're like, she's like one of those working dogs where she doesn't have anything to do. She just becomes destructive.
She just starts eating her own tail.
She'll chew up the furniture and pee on everything. It's a mess.
Well, yeah, that's why we're doing this today, so that, this hour gives Danny time to clean up from the last time I peed on everything.
I mean, this is just like Danny's golden hour. He's just like, oh, fuck, finally. Ooh, finally rewatched the Snyder Cut. But how have you been this week, this month?
I'm okay. I'm quite tired because I'm not usually doing things by 10 in the morning on a Sunday, I have to say.
That's all right. Well, you don't have to do a lot. You just have to passively listen and...
No, I have to be funny. That's like... I'd rather have done the research, to be honest. So much pressure. Well, because it's like, if you do the research and you're not funny, it's just like, well, it's not my fault. These are the facts. Yeah. Whereas on this side, it's just... there's a lot.
And then
of
also
pressure.
when you do the research, you can write your own jokes and
because I don't know if many people share this opinion, but often preparing comedy material makes it funnier than making it up on the spot. I know that's very controversial.
See, I'm 50-50 on that. I mean, I do agree that preparing material makes it funnier, but then also preparing material is a lot of work and it's annoying. So it depends on where I'm getting my enjoyment. Am I getting enjoyment more from the reaction of an audience, or am I getting more of my enjoyment from just like not giving a shit? But I am the kind of guy who's put the maximum amount of work into every aspect of comedy except writing material. And
yeah, that is very true.
But anyways, Anna, have you done anything legendary or heroic this week or this?
I've done something that I think would be anti-heroic, or like a legendary level of terribleness.
Just pure villainy.
Yeah, pretty much. But it was kind of in my sleep, so when I heard about it, I was like, wow, I'm an asshole. Basically, the other night, Danny got up in the middle of the night to go to the toilet and didn't turn the light on in our hall and tripped over, I think, my shoe that I hadn't tidied away properly. And he made an enormous loud crash and woke me up. And I don't get very much sleep, and I'm very protective over my sleep, and I do not react well to being woken up. So he got back into bed, and I was like, you woke me up. And he was like, I think I might have broken my toe. And apparently I said, well, that's not the same, is it? So yeah, I was pretty aghast when he told me about that the next day.
I mean, most people would be like, well, that's not the same, is it? I'm very sorry I yelled at you. But you were just like,
yeah,
no, my sleep is precious. You have 10 toes.
Yeah. Exactly.
You can afford to lose a couple toes. I cannot afford to lose even a moment of sleep.
That's pretty much it, yeah. But yeah, so in the morning, I was like, I kind of half remembered, and I was like, oh, how's your foot? And he was just like, well, you said it's not the same when I told you it was almost broken. So yeah, it was a bit frosty in the morning.
You are like a capricious deity, like a god, or yeah, I mean, that does feel like in the way that often in these myths, you're like, that was not a proportional response to what happened. Higher being. Not that I don't want you to get the idea that you're a higher being, but yeah, it's just like, it is very much like, oh, you woke me from my sleep. This feels like a myth because it's like, oh, you woke me from my sleep? Well, I guess I'll murder your whole family.
Now face my wrath. Yeah. Which I didn't do. I just dismissed his toe injury.
But just to be clear, his toe was not broken.
We don't think so. I mean, he played hockey yesterday, but apparently it hurt while he was playing hockey. So I think it's just like kind of bruised, maybe.
I think the problem with like having a broken toe is the doctor will be like, yeah,
there's nothing we can do.
It's too bad, huh? They're like, at best they'll like strap one to the next one, and they'll be like, well.
Yeah. Well, we've only got gaffer tape, which duct tape in American. So I don't know if that would be medically appropriate. So what's your thing? It might be better.
No, I mean, my thing is, the epic thing that I experienced in the past week is that I hung out with like 3 different groups of people, which was kind of like, wow. Like so many people. I actually met a new person the other day. I know, right? God. I know. Whoa. I got to hang out with someone.
That does not
somebody
happen.
Who hadn't been like, vetted, and felt like I should be like, I need to know everybody you've had contact with in the last 6 months, all your sexual partners, like everything. Like I just, 2 forms of ID. But no, we just hung out with like a stranger, not a stranger, but the spouse of a friend.
Of a friend, presumably.
Spouse of a friend that I had never met. And I actually hung out with Tara and her. I never met Tara's husband. And I've also never met Tara's kids. So they came over and we had a nice little day. And she got to meet Tavish.
Yeah. Aww.
And we got to go to a beer garden. Have you been to a beer garden yet?
I have not yet. It's just been kind of cold. And we're also not near any, which is the one downside of where we're living now.
Yeah, but that's all the epic things I did. It's just...
That's pretty
It felt epic. It felt big. It felt like a real, like, changing of eras, where it's just like, oh, we're hanging out with people, Anyways.
Yeah.
So, Anna, today is April. I don't know why. I'm trying to do this intro like we normally do. So thanks everybody for supporting our Patreon. As you may or may not know, this is our Patreon sideshow where we talk about myths, where I tell Anna about a myth from classical mythology instead of her telling me about a saint. So, because last month we did the Epic of Gilgamesh, which was a lot of fun, but Anna felt like she understood but did not.
What? Is that
I feel like
the main take?
No, I feel like you kept bringing up the flood. Of the one aspect of the Gilgamesh myth. You kept bringing up Utnapishtim and the flood that he experienced and whatnot, and made me think about flood and flood myths. And I thought, let's talk about the big name in flood myths. Maybe not the original one, which is Utnapishtim, but the guy who came in and did the big version. And we're going to talk about Noah today.
Ah, okay, cool. Can I just say, because I don't know, I imagine people are listening to this like in sequence, probably, if they're making the effort. So you would have heard by now about the flood that was actually taking place while we were recording the last sideshow. So I feel like that was pretty significant. Like, I was fixated on the idea of flooding, and unknowingly at the
flood
time,
was happening.
Yeah, I was flooding my kitchen. So
yeah, it's kind of, it all kind of runs.
It's all
significant.
significant.
It works together. But yeah, check out our last episode? It was Saint Gemma. Saint Gemma, the Saint.
How could you forget? How, after that whole website, how
I
could
forgot
you
about the website. I have been a bit in dread that I'm going to get an email from that guy.
Oh my god, I really hope you do. You have to text me when you do,
am
okay?
afraid of
Like,
it.
doesn't matter what time of the day. I would not forgive someone breaking their toe in the middle of the night, but I will forgive you for waking me up in the middle of the night saying it's happened.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm hoping we get it from him and not his lawyer, but we'll see. No, yeah, whatever. Nothing actionable in that podcast. So Noah, and people will be like, well, Noah's not a myth, he's in the Bible. And I was like,
Yeah, and the Bible's not complete fiction,
like,
so whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And Noah's not just in the Bible, he's in the Torah and the Quran. So he is part of...
Oh, three fictional books.
So he's in a lot of...
Must be true.
Yeah, but he, spoiler alert, the flood never happened. There is a lot of people trying to reverse engineer geology to, like, justify the fact that the flood happened. That is all bunk. There's no evidence for that, and there is a mountain of evidence actually exactly to the contrary. So I wouldn't worry about that. So yeah, but this is from the Old Testament. This is from the book of Genesis, actually. I always forget how early on in the Bible the story of the flood happens, because it's like...
You've just made the earth and you're like, oh, we gotta have a do-over.
It is literally chapter 6 of what is a big book. I don't know if you guys have like picked up a Bible when you have been having illicit affairs in hotel rooms, as I assume you all do, because you're all cool.
I like the idea that you would have an illicit affair in the kind of hotel that would still have a Bible in the door. Like, I don't think that's true anymore.
Oh, maybe not. I don't know. Those Gideons used to get around. So it's chapter 6 of the Bible, which is of the first book of the Bible, which is very long. So it's like 5 chapters after we create the earth, we're like, you know what, this just didn't work out. And that's a bold choice. It's like if 5 chapters into Harry Potter people were like, you know what, this Harry Potter kid is just like, it's not working out. Let's just shoot him in the head and start over fresh. It'd be...
To be fair, that would have made it a lot better if they just killed him and instead made it. It's actually Hermione now. That's the main focus.
Turns out we like these other characters more. Turns out this one was kind of a dud. Sorry, guys. I mean, that's basically what he's saying. That's what God is saying, is like, oh, this humanity that I made, this is a problem.
But I mean, he did try. I love it. It's like, so making Satan into a snake and taking away his legs, that didn't work. So we got to try something else now. What about a flood? Can
I also say, I think there's a whole chapter in the book of Genesis that is just a list of people. So there's not even a lot of narrative happening.
Oh, there are quite a few books in the Bible that are just lists of people. But also, I wanted to say, although Genesis appears first, it probably wasn't actually written first, because the whole thing was oral tradition first, and then it was I think it wasn't until, I can't remember, but the Torah was only established quite late on, I think maybe around the time of Jesus, maybe a bit earlier, maybe a bit later, I can't remember exactly, but it was the stories had been happening for a longer time than the way that we've sort of received them now.
So it's not exactly a first-hand account of what's happening, is what you're saying. It's not ripped from the headlines.
Yeah, Adam didn't write Genesis. In fact, I think Moses was, supposed to have written the first 5 books.
Okay. That makes sense.
Which doesn't really make sense, because he doesn't live past the end of Exodus.
No, wait, he doesn't die in Exodus. I think he goes back up the mountain, doesn't he? Wait.
No, he dies, and then Joshua takes the Israelites into Canaan.
Wait, so he dies? No, I thought he returned to God. Oh, maybe that's an expression that means he died.
Oh, Matt, I gotta break it to you. When someone returns to God, that means they died. I'm sorry,
is this
buddy.
when they told me my dog went to live on a farm upstate?
Yeah, it's exactly like that. I'm sorry, Matt. Moses is dead. You're gonna have to come to terms with it eventually.
I was he's just living up on the mountain with God and talking to that bush. Oh, man.
Sorry, Matt. Your parents lied to you.
Anyways, so Noah is the hero of the biblical flood story of the Old Testament in the book of Genesis. So Noah was the 10th of the pre-flood patriarchs. This is also called the antediluvian patriarchs. I love the term antediluvian.
I do enjoy that phrase.
Antediluvian is great. It's just a great word to throw in when you're saying something's just really old. And I just love it. And I just kind of I think I realized I like most words that are involved with water, I really like. I like deluge is great. I like the word brackish. It's fun. All these words are fun. Anyways.
Plop. That's a word to do with water.
His father was...
Hey, you wanted my improv. This is...
All right, well, I should wait till you're done with that Commedia dell'arte class, and then you'll come back here.
Yes. I should get you to pay for that, actually, because it'll improve the Patreon.
I do not have a job. So unless people have started contributing to this Patreon in a very serious way, since the last time I checked, I'm not going to be able to float that. So, float. That's a good fun. Yeah.
Float. Good. Yeah.
Anyways, his father was Lamech. And his mother's not named in the biblical accounts because fuck her, she's a woman.
Wait, women don't count. Yeah.
They're not in the accounts and they don't count. So Noah was 500 years old when he became the father of Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
Wow.
So yeah.
So there must have been some antediluvian Viagra knocking around.
I don't know. If you can do anything at 500 years old.
I mean, I feel like Noah's wife deserves... Oh, wait, it was his mother.
I was
going to say, I feel like she would...
These are Noah's sons.
Yeah. So, but when you said his mother wasn't named, for a minute I thought you were saying his wife wasn't named, and I was going to say she deserves to be named just for having sex with a 500-year-old man, because that sounds like quite the ordeal.
Noah's wife is named. She is Zara.
Okay.
I don't think that she...
But people don't know that. Like, yeah, she should be as much of a legend, if not more. Because, sleeping with a 500-year-old man does no mean feat.
He must have been pretty rich, am I right? She might have been 500 years old, too. I don't know if we really talked about this, but,
I guess the biological practicalities at this point probably don't really factor in, because it's like, I mean, 440-odd years after your menopause.
So... I mean, there's that. And so the antediluvian people of Earth, according to the Bible, just lived forever. Like, they lived hundreds and hundreds of years. That was not uncommon.
Right.
And I think it's even this actually comes up in the Utnapishtim myth as well, where before the flood, everybody was immortal. No, wait, I don't think it was... No, that's not right. It's a different flood myth. Sorry, they're getting all mixed up. I think this might be the Zoroastrian version. In the Zoroastrian version, everybody was immortal before the flood, and then they were like, well, there's too many people because everybody's immortal. So let's flood the place, kill everybody, and then everybody will be mortal after that.
But if they were immortal, that doesn't make sense. Hey, you know what? Because if they were immortal, then they wouldn't have died in the flood.
You're not going to get the other side of this. It's just not going to work. You're not going to be able to get around this. It's just not. Sorry.
Well, okay. What if... Okay, they're actually all still alive, but they're just at the bottom of the sea because none of them could
that's
swim.
A scary thought that just at the bottom of the ocean there's a bunch of really angry immortals that are just like...
Immortal antediluvian beings.
So anyways, so he's 500 years old. He had these 3 sons.
Okay.
So none of the women in the flood myth are named in the Bible.
Because... God hates women.
Well,
we know this.
I don't think it's fair to say he hates women as much as he is just indifferent to them. So, it's like he just doesn't care.
Yeah, but you've never had a period, so
All right.
You would
Fair.
say that.
So he's 500 years old. He has his kids, and I felt old for having my kid in my 40s. So...
So this has made you feel better already?
Yeah, it doesn't say what he did for the 500 years before this. Because
he didn't have children before then.
So...
Or did he? Was he like...
It doesn't say what he...
Was it just him and his wife on the boat? Or did he take his... Did he have... I was sure he had kids that he took with him. He did,
yeah, because he...
Or a family.
Yeah, because his grown sons, presumably grown sons, because they had wives, came with them on the boat. So those are the only people on the boat.
Well, what if they were like 300?
Yeah. Well, so, okay, I'm going to jump ahead here just so we understand. So it says he got on the boat when he was 600. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Okay. So he started building it?
No. So supposedly, and I forget where I read this, but the ark, should say, took 120 years to build.
Okay.
And so presumably...
Everyone needs hobbies when they retire.
Sounds like this was his job. I don't even know what he fucking... So that means at 480, God told him to start building an ark. Then 20 years into that process, he has his kid.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that does beg the question what on earth he was doing for the first 480 years of his life.
And then...
Presumably, though, being a good guy, because that's why God wanted him for the ark, right? So maybe he was just doing loads of charity stuff.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe not. Well, so the Bible says that Noah was a righteous man and walked with God. But
so he was just good at networking, basically.
But then there are certain rabbinical traditions that say, like, he was just the best man of his generation, which...
Oh, the best of a bad
basically,
bunch.
yeah. So it's like this generation was bad enough that they all had to be eliminated, and Noah was the best guy amongst them.
Was the only one.
Yeah, so the more rabbinical tradition seems to, and I don't fully, I didn't look into this terribly, but my understanding of it, just generally, and with the cursory research, is that he's not a perfect man. He's just the best man at the time. So it would just...
Which could be interpreted either way, I think, because, clearly it might be fair to say that God at this point is a genocidal maniac. So, and possibly a eugenicist as well, right? So it's like, it could mean that he was the least bad, or it could mean that, actually there were quite a few people who were good enough. Well, good, but not good enough in God's eyes to make up for all the really bad people.
Right. So it could have been, there were some good people. I'm sure there were some good people amongst them, but this is the...
Probably all women, so therefore they didn't count.
He was probably the best man, we'll say that. So, because you're not going to get a woman. A woman couldn't build a boat. Come on.
That's
true.
An
ark.
Yeah. Our boobs just get in the way of, trying to hammer.
You couldn't even...
Stuff. Now, weak lady hands can't lift the planks.
Then, you got periods and whatnot, and it's just not going to work. So, seeing the earth was corrupt and filled with violence, God instructed Noah to build an ark, which he and his sons and their wives together...
Wait, so they helped?
No, in which he, his sons, and their wives, together with male and female of all living creatures, would be saved from the waters. So, like I said, there's not really much we know about Noah, as far as I can tell, from before he built the ark, but then he built the ark, and that's kind of his big thing, and that's all people really talk about. And I feel like after it was done, people would just be like, oh my God, you had to build that ark? And he's like, well, I actually had a very successful shoe business before I built the ark, but nobody ever talks about that. I have interest too. Thank you. Did other stuff besides the ark.
It'd be really tragic as well if it turned out he was actually allergic to a lot of animals.
It's like, you're the only good guy, but you do have terrible, terrible allergies. So sorry, Noah.
No other way. My hands are tied. I mean, I'm only an omnipotent God. What can I do?
Wish it could have gone another way, but oh well. So let's talk about this boat. So according to the Bible, Noah's instruction given him by God was the ark is to be 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 300 cubits high. Okay.
So wait, hang on. So it's kind of square.
Well,
if it's 300 long and 300 high.
No, I'm sorry, 30 high. Sorry.
Oh, that
so
makes
it's 300 by 50 by 30. Did I say 300? Sorry. 300 by 50 by 30. So you might be saying, Matt, how long is a cubit? No, but you don't want to. No, it's fine. It's too late.
How
too
long
late.
is a cubit?
Common believes the notion that a cubit is equal to 18 inches, or the length of a man's arm from the elbow to the fingertip.
That does not sound big enough to have two of every animal.
But then also it says Scripture prescribes unique measurements for such a sacred or long cubit in the book of Ezekiel. And the dimensions of those cubits are being a cubit and a handbreadth, so 21 to 25 inches. So this results in an ark that is somewhere between 525 and 624 feet long. Basically, it would be roughly the size of an aircraft carrier. So this is a very big boat.
Well, it is, but again, how many animals are out there? I mean, I guess the thing with this is it doesn't really account for evolution anyway, but if say you've got a dog, are you just going to have one dog, or are you going to have one of each breed of dog?
See, that's where you get you're getting caught in the weeds here. You're just like.
I don't think God has thought this through, actually.
I think you'll find that he's thought through quite a bit of stuff. He thought about the dimensions, right? He's like, I don't know, maybe God's eyeballing it.
But this is what I'm saying. It sounds like he didn't think through the dimensions quite enough, because if you don't believe in evolution, if you deny evolution, because it's not really something you can believe in because it's a fact, then presumably every breed of animal that we have now was on the boat, and therefore it couldn't have been just one dog. It would have had to be all the dogs.
Right. But
right?
do people who don't believe in evolution believe that you can breed dogs for certain traits?
That's an interesting point. Probably yes, and they're probably just doing like some mental gymnastics to say like, oh, that's different. Or like, I know some say like, oh yeah, evolution obviously happens because of breeding different animals, but that's kind of it. It's within the limitations of changing things slightly that already exist, rather than adapting slowly over hundreds of thousands of years.
And I mean, breeding different dogs is not like those dogs aren't evolving. You're not changing the genetics of the dog so substantially that they're a new species. They're all still dog. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
It's complicated. But yeah, creative, I don't want to burst anybody's bubble, but intelligent design is bunk. Creationism is fallacy. It's ridiculous. Anyways, it's stupid. They're stupid. It's stupid. Anyways.
No way.
So
is that our official position?
Our official position of this podcast is creationism is dumb, intelligent design is dumb, and you should just do...
And also there's probably no God. Why are we doing this again?
We just do stuff for fun. Again, this is a charity work that I do, so it doesn't really matter what we talk about.
It's charity work because it's befriending me, is that? Well, not befriending, volunteering at me.
Don't worry, when the court-ordered community service hours are over, we can just quit doing this podcast. So we built this boat the size of an aircraft carrier, which is why it took him 120 years. You're like, why would it take you 120 years to build a boat? Oh, it's like...
Because it was handcrafted. That's pretty, it's artisan. There were no machines.
You would think that by the time you're done with the front of the boat, the back of the boat has rotted away because it's been 120 years. It's insane.
Yeah, that's true. If you look at wood from the Victorian times.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It's probably not in the great.
Yeah,
I guess there are ships... still around from a while ago. But yeah, it doesn't seem like the most efficient way. Like, it's very odd that it's like, okay, I'm going to do a huge flood, but I'm going to give you 120-year head start. Yeah. So, hand build a boat.
Well, maybe it was like, hey, I'm going to do a flood. You can knock together a boat in a year. And Noah's like, yeah, sure. And then he's like, great, here are the dimensions. Like, oh, shit. Okay, I got to work on this. He's
going to need an extension.
He's like, first off, I'm going to need at least 3 kids to help with this. Better to work on that. It's honestly, it does seem like, and also like in terms of genetic diversity, which is also the impossibility of like, even if you had 8 people having children, and honestly, you only have 3 people because Noah and his wife don't have any further children as far as is in the record. So you just have 3 couples, half of each couple is related. Is the same genetics. Like you couldn't create the genetic diversity. So it's like, I guess in a perfect world, God would be like, hey, let's like 100 people work together on this ark and then they all go, whatever. Yeah. Anyways.
That would make more sense. Are you saying if that were the case, you might believe it?
Maybe. I'd say like, maybe, hey, let's put in let's try harder. So
the devil is in the detail. And in this case, the details just all fall apart.
Yeah, details where the devil tricks you.
Yeah.
So the boat also had 3 decks, which you'd think it'd need more decks than that.
Yeah, because then you're not very far away from like all the animal shit.
But I mean, it's supposedly the 3 decks represent the 3 levels of existence. So like heaven, earth, and the waters below.
Right. So what? He kept the fish on the bottom. Wait, fish didn't need to come on the
ark. You would think, but then there's
presumably.
I don't know. But then the other thing is like, so if the ocean's flooded, is all the water salt water? In which case, do all the freshwater fish die?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Or
did they have to come on the boat?
Are all the waters fresh? In which case, all the saltwater animals die. So it's like...
That's a really good point.
Isn't it, though? But anyways.
I feel like the number of people who actually believe that the flood is true is quite small. Like, even among crazy evangelicals.
You would be surprised, but there are 3 full-size arks on the earth today that groups of people have built.
Oh, wow.
So...
Yeah, well, they got to find some way to spend all that Jesus money, right?
You could give it to the poor or replica of fake
No. When Jesus said give all your money to the poor, that was a metaphor. Nothing else of what's in the Bible is a metaphor, but that his specific instruction is one that we do not have to follow.
Yeah. So there's a lot of speculation about what the ark looked like and then how it kind of operated on a logical level, like how you would include all these animals.
Yeah.
So they were saying, the lowest deck was for wild beasts, the middle deck was for birds and domesticated animals, and the top deck was for humans.
Why wouldn't you let the birds be on the top deck so they could fly around?
It does feel like you'd want the birds up top. And it does feel like that would be the easiest way to manage the birds, is just like they could just fly around.
Yeah.
But, again, you want that deck for humans and you don't want bird poop everywhere. I mean, there are people who say like, oh, the bottom deck was just for dung.
Right. That makes sense.
Actually, I saw one that was like the top deck was just for dung, and I was like, that seems like a bad plan. Like that.
Yeah, that's terrible logistics.
So
I feel like instead of a boat, it should have been a train that was 1001 cars long. I think that would have been. Oh my
God, you and your Snowpiercer. You know what?
But it does seem, because obviously Snowpiercer is like Noah's Ark.
It kind of is.
But they thought it through better.
They did think it through better. It does make more sense to have a train 101 cars long.
1001 cars long. Rather than a boat 3 decks high. Oh my God, I really want to make a trailer for Noah's Ark as if it was Snowpiercer now.
And just some wild animals fighting their way up from the bottom deck to the top.
Yeah. That snuck on. Yeah, and Noah is this narcissistic billionaire. Yeah. Well, just a billionaire, I guess. Social commentary.
So there's a lot of speculation about what the ark looked like. There was a 16th century geometer, which is apparently the name for somebody who studies geometry, which I did not know, who calculated the ship's internal dimension. His name is Jonas Buto, and he calculated this ship's inner dimension.
Can you imagine? Yeah. You're like an academic mathematician, and you dedicate your time and your intellect to doing that.
I mean,
what a waste. Like, we could have, maybe we would have already terraformed Mars if people didn't waste their fucking time on trying to justify these clearly batshit stories.
I mean, I read something that said like the first edition of the Encyclopedia Britannica just presented the story of Noah's Ark as just pure fact. It was never like, and this is like in the 1700s, right? And so this guy is 200 years before that. And it's like, it's just like, I don't know, this is one of the great problems of like, now we face like the great problems of like the origins of the universe and how, things work on a quantum level and the mysteries of the human mind. And here they're just like, what about this big boat, right? How does this boat work? Because I've been in boats, but like, this seems like a big boat,
Yeah, I think it's one of those examples of like how much we've been held back by superstition. Because I often think like how much more knowledgeable could I be about stuff if like half my childhood wasn't spent like learning things like prayers and hymns and shit that just like I still know the Lord's Prayer off by heart. Right. I still know a lot of hymns because they're designed to be earwormy and stuff. And it's like, imagine if my brain didn't have to deal with that. What else could I have been learning instead?
Yeah, but I feel like also you can't just blame organized religion for that, because I imagine an equal amount of space is taken up by like Spice Girls lyrics in your brain.
Wow, that is very stereotypical.
So, I should say, this guy, he figured out the dimensions of the ship, allowing for Noah's grinding mills and smokeless ovens. It's a model widely adapted by other commentators. Apparently, also there are theories that I don't know where people get this idea from, but that male animals were separated by females by sharp stakes to prevent breeding. So
okay, wait, but how long were they on? It was only 40 days and 40 nights, wasn't it? Or no, that was how long it rained for.
Rained for, right? So there's some. I mean, there's a lot of conjecture on this because, like, if you read the Bible,
which I do not recommend,
it's like kind of long. Main character doesn't show up till halfway through. 2 stars. But it's the weird ending.
But the Bible is the Snyder Cut. That's...
if any book needed an editor, it was the Bible. They tell the same story 4 times at the beginning of the New Testament. It's dumb. Anyways, so there's multiple sources of these stories, and the Bible kind of merges them. So there are parts that don't make like sense. Like they contradict each other basically, and they don't make.
No way. Are you saying that even if people say that they read the Bible literally, they're not telling the truth.
Yeah, apparently it turns out there's no
I'm
literal
shocked.
way to read the Bible because it doesn't make literal
Wait,
sense.
but then that means that people who are homophobic because it says so in the Bible are just using that as an excuse.
Perhaps. That might be, you might
Oh
be
my
onto
God.
something there with that theory.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's because like there's no internal logic, so there's no logical way to read the Bible. So it's like, anyways. So enough about that.
Yeah. No, I want to beat this drum a bit more.
No, it's all right. I feel like people are listening to this. They're probably like, yes. Everybody's thoughtfully nodding their head and be like, yeah, so clever. So, Talmudic traditions relate that while Noah was building his ark, he attempted to warn his neighbors of the coming deluge, great word, but was ignored and mocked. God placed lions and other ferocious beasts to protect Noah and his family from the wicked who tried to keep them from the ark.
I like that because it's like he's got to get them onto the boat. So first, he's going to put them in a ring around him while he's building it as his security.
Which also, old lions, right? 120-year-old lions? Or I guess it was just generations of lions.
Yeah, you wouldn't even need to keep them away from each other to breed because, again, they would, be too old. That's a really interesting question as well. Like, were antediluvian animals also living hundreds of years?
I think so. Well, I don't know. According to the Zoroastrian religion,
were they also
they were
immortal?
also immortal, yeah. So it was just like the earth was getting crowded with immortal creatures, which it seems like if...
Oh, that makes more sense. Like, rather than, humans are bad, we need to get rid of them. It's like, well, everyone's immortal, so we're running out of space.
Oh, I should also say that in the Utnapishtim myth, the Babylonian myth, the gods get together and they say, hey, let's destroy Earth, and people are like, but it's not really clear. And the best, it's either that the gods are capricious and they're just like, yeah, fuck them, or that humans are loud.
Like Tories, and they just want to see the people beneath them killing each other for sport.
It's like, what's the point of being a god if you can't crush lesser beings, right?
Yeah.
What's the point of being in power if you can't just wield it without any recourse and without any consequences and do what you want? Yeah. But then the alternate theory is that humans are just loud, which, fair.
Humans are loud.
It's like they were disturbed by how loud humans were, and they were just like,
but what, they're up in the sky, like, what? Like, that's nuts. Like, because they hadn't even invented like sound systems yet, or not even the steam train. What were they doing that was so loud?
Apparently,
fucking
maybe. I imagine they had horns and drums and all kinds of instruments and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
But it's not just like general wickedness. It's not like a moral judgment. It's just kind of just like so annoying.
I could forgive you being wicked, but do you have to be so bloody annoying?
I think what it is, now that I have a child, is that they were like, so many babies crying. This needs to stop.
Right.
So,
oh no, we're back on. Matthew resents fatherhood.
I don't understand fatherhood. I'm just saying babies are loud. That is just a fact of nature. And it's fine if you're...
And you'll say you totally relate to the gods that want to wipe out humanity.
Here's the thing is...
because of babies being
I'm
loud.
fine with my son being loud. I mean, I know that he's in distress and I want to help him.
It's other people's babies.
Yeah, it's other people's baby, right? If I'm in a restaurant and somebody else's baby's crying, I'm like, man, fuck that baby. But if my own son is crying, then I'm very concerned with him and I'm trying to settle him and deal with him. And,
I'm not sure this redeems you, but go
on.
But
I'm just saying, like, so the gods are like, they're in a restaurant. The next table over has a very upset baby. And they're like, you know what? I'm just going to burn this fucking restaurant down. Or I guess I'm going to flood this restaurant. I'm going to go in the bathroom and turn on all the taps and everyone else be damned, So according to some again, Talmudic sources, it was God or the angels who gathered the animals and their food to the ark, which at that point it's like, why not just build the ark, God? Thanks for nothing.
Also, hang on. They had animal food.
Right.
For a lot of the animals, wasn't that just other animals?
Well, that's the thing is like, why would you keep some of the domesticated animals from breeding when you could use those to feed
the lions? Yeah. Again, none of this makes sense.
As there had been no need to distinguish between clean and unclean animals before this time, the clean animals made themselves known by kneeling before Noah as they entered the ark. Differing opinions,
Okay.
A differing opinion is that the ark itself distinguished clean from unclean, admitting 7 pairs each of the former and 1 pair of the latter. So this is another thing.
Oh, so it wasn't just 2 by
Right.
2. It was 7 by 2.
Yeah, so clean animals, which I think is animals that we eat. I actually didn't look up what the definition of a clean animal. I think it's domesticated animals, is basically what it's saying. 7 pairs of each would be brought in. And then if you're an unclean animal, just 1 pair.
So there was more genetic diversity among the animals than among the humans.
Yeah.
Because there was only 3 pairs of breeding
And really
humans.
there's only, and like there were like 3 half pairs because that half the genetic material in each of those
because of
is
the
the
brothers.
same.
Yeah.
Right. So it does feel like they're like, wait, so the clean animals, you understood that 7 was really good.
Yeah.
But with the humans, you didn't. Got it. Okay, cool. So so that's another thing that's inconsistent is that within the Bible that there's passages that say it was 2 by 2, and then others that say no, it was 7 of
Right, and
something.
others say that it's 7, of course.
Anyway,
The greatest book ever written, very inconsistent.
it's the greatest story ever told, not the greatest book ever written.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the writing is Paul. Okay.
The greatest book ever
enough.
written. Their Eyes Were Watching God. I couldn't think of a comic answer, so I'm just going to say Their Eyes Were Watching God is an amazing book by Zora Neale Hurston. Read it. Anyways, we have all the animals collected. So Noah enters the ark in his 600th year on the 17th day of the 2nd month of that year. So February 17th. We should have done this in February, if I'd known.
Nice.
So-
Okay, the anniversary. I mean, it actually pre-Gregorian calendar. Would that have meant it was actually April or I can't because September is the 9th month, but it was called So the 2nd month.
So
I can't remember if January and February were added at the beginning or if November and because December
is the 10th.
sounds like
Is
10.
yeah.
So I think January and February were the ones that were added on.
Okay.
So at this point it would have been April.
Well, then we did this right. So we did that on purpose. We did this. It was April 17th, which
Yes.
actually yesterday.
Yeah,
So
yesterday.
that was kind of a fun coincidence. So on the 17th of the 2nd month that year, the fountains of the great deep burst apart and floodgates of heaven broke open. And rain fell for 40 days and 40 nights until the highest mountains were covered to a depth of 15 cubits. And all earth-based life perished except for Noah and those with him in the ark.
15
Cubits deep.
cubits. So that's what, like 30,
15,
20 feet?
20,
How much is a cubit again?
About 18 inches, 18 to 25 inches. So it's either somewhere between 30 and 40 feet. Back of the envelope.
That's
pretty deep.
And the mountains were covered
All the mountains were
that
covered.
much as well.
So it says that the highest mountains were covered to a depth of 15 cubits, so 30 to 40 feet.
Okay, so that is quite a big flood.
So here's the other thing is that there's not that much water on Earth to flood all of the land masses of the Earth.
Yeah.
Sorry, any fans of the Kevin Costner film Waterworld. That is also an impossibility. I'm sorry to break a lot of hearts this episode. But so...
I mean, it's a good thing that we have so few listeners at this point, because it means you're upsetting fewer people.
But potentially a lot more people in the future, hopefully.
Yes, sorry. I'll keep the faith.
At the time when Waterworld was supposed to be happening, will be anyway. So even if all the ice on Earth were to melt, the sea level would only rise 230 feet. That is not an excuse to not do something about global warming.
I was about to say.
I feel like this entire nation's under 230 feet. So in Jewish folklore, the kind of water that was pouring forth.
Sorry, folklore. It sounded like you were saying folklore.
Jewish folklore is Jewish.
Well, that's just the dietary customs,
cuisine,
right?
It's like matzo ball soup and that kind of things. So bagels and lox. So the kind of water that was pouring forth on the earth for 40 days was not common rainfall. Rather, God
acid rain.
Basically, God bade each drop pass through Gethsemane? Genna. No.
Probably not.
No, that's not right. Genna.
That just seems unnecessary as well.
Yeah.
Like it's enough water to fuck things up. You don't need an extra ingredient in there.
But it would pass through Genna, which is a valley in Jerusalem. In the Hebrew Bible, Genna was initially where the kings of Judah sacrificed their children by fire.
Casual.
Yeah. So anyways, it passed through Genna and fell to earth, which hot rain scalded the skin of sinners. So it's not enough that these people die
Wow.
drowning.
They also have to burn first.
burn a bit first.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a little...
That seems a proportional response from the creator of all things.
Yeah, there's some things to talk about how, like, the flood isn't just the destruction of the earth, it is the almost literal uncreation of the earth. It's like taking the creation myth and reversing it, basically. So it is just like a complete and absolute destruction of all that is.
Which, again, he could have just foreseen it and done it right the first time.
One would imagine, but I don't know. Yeah, it raises a lot more questions than it answers, honestly. The punishment that overtook them was befitting their crime, as their sensual desires had made them hot and inflamed to the immoral excesses. So they were chastised by means of heated water. So that's
nice.
There you go.
I like that God tries to justify his immoral actions with like a pretentious metaphor. Yeah. That's great.
So it's returning it to this pre-creation state of watery chaos by flooding the earth because of humanity's misdeeds, and then remaking it in the microcosm of Noah's Ark.
But a very dysfunctional microcosm.
Yeah, who knows how that's going to work. Okay, so it rained for 40 days and 40 nights, but so there is conflicting narratives that the land was flooded for 40 days, I guess, or it was flooded for 150 days, which contradicts itself within the same chapter a few verses later in the book of Genesis.
No way.
Yeah. So 150 days is, I think, the kind of thing is so, Noah was on the ark for 150 days after the rain subsided.
The 40
yeah, so
days.
It's like 190 days, I think is the total.
So was he presumably they were on the boat when the rain started, or like, after the first day of rain when it was like a few feet? Or...
I think, yeah.
So hang on, so this ark as well, it would have had to not only be watertight, but also resistant to the fire rain.
That's true, I suppose. Also, water is coming up from the ground. So
I guess he would have wanted to be in the boat first.
So you'd be in the boat. So you'd get in the boat. I think the idea is he shuts the door on the boat, and then everything starts pouring and whatnot. And water keeps and then great geysers of water. Actually, in the movie Noah, which I meant to watch before this, but then we had to move this episode up
forward.
Yeah,
sorry.
They do have great geysers of water emerging from the ground. So apparently, there's also rock monsters in there that protect the boat. So I'm excited to watch it.
Instead of varnish.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean from people trying to get on the boat.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So on the 27th day of the second month of Noah's 601st year, the earth was dry. So there's also some conjecture of so the story that I think most people know is that after a while, Noah sent out a dove, and the dove returned with an olive branch, indicating that there was land again. So
which is another area that doesn't make sense, because surely you've destroyed everything.
Yeah.
You send out a dove to find an olive branch. The whole tree would have had to grow back.
Right. So that's so there's actually been a fair amount of research done to disprove this. So actually, I meant to bring this up earlier. There was a group of grad students at a university somewhere in the UK, I forget which one, that actually calculated if a boat of those dimensions could float. And they figured out it could.
Yeah.
And you could fit 70,000 animals onto it. Okay. And so they said, and it could float, but it would basically float up to the level of the deck. So if you got hit with even the slightest wave, you would just swamp the thing.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's theoretically possible to have a boat this big that floats. It is theoretically possible to fit X number of animals onto it.
70,000 animals.
So people did some research, and they figured out that if you submerge an olive tree in water, it will die within, I think, 30 days. So if it's submerged for however many months, 150 days, it will just die. And also they said, and then grass will also die within even a shorter period of, within a matter of weeks. If you submerge grass, it'll die. So then when you release all of these animals, all the herbivores have nothing to eat.
Yeah.
And then subsequently, all of the predators have just herbivores to eat. So it really just seems like anyways. But I guess they're being controlled by God in the same way that God told them to come to the boat. So you just have to say that. So presumably he brought a dead olive branch back, because everything's just covered in water and mud.
But then what does that prove?
I don't know. That there's still land. I mean, also, maybe the bird just picked it up out of the water. It could have just been floating on the water.
Hey, this olive branch is wet. It was raining on the way over again, but definitely from land.
Oh, it's the dove's actually, I thought this was a neat shaped piece of wood, and I just picked it up. I don't know. Didn't do anything. So there's, in the Fuller story, apparently he sends out a number of birds at different times. Not Not to their deaths. It does sound like I'm just like...
Are you sure? It does sound like, okay, that one's gone. We'll send another one.
Well, and in the Utnam Pushnam story, he sends out a bird and it comes back, and he sends out a different kind of bird and it comes back, and then he sends out a raven, and the raven doesn't come back, and so he's like, oh, it must be dry land out there. And I was like, that's a spurious, like, that is bad logic. It's like, or the raven just died. Like, the raven got too far from the boat and couldn't get back. Like, that's also very valid.
Also, if you've got animals paired up specifically so that they can carry on breeding, and then you send one out on its own and it doesn't come back, that all your effort taking pairs has been wasted.
Yeah. So anyways, and I think within Genesis, it says he released both a raven and a dove. So it's, it doesn't, anyways, again, it's contradictory. So anyways, so the rain stopped, the waters receded, basically.
Okay.
So after 150 days, quote, God remembered Noah and the waters subsided.
Oh shit! There's a guy on a boat. I left him there.
Like God's off doing other stuff, and he's like, oh fuck, is that guy still in that boat? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
This is so embarrassing. Also, another thing, we were talking about what the animals ate. What did the humans eat?
Animals. Well, actually, I don't know, because there's a bit later that says...
Oh, maybe that's why they had 7 pairs of domesticated ones, so they could keep a few of them for food.
Maybe, or
like breeding for food.
I think they just had, like, a bunch of canned goods.
Do you think, like, because the idea of having a deck for dung as well, surely in terms of keeping the weight of the boat a bit more manageable, they should have thrown the dung out.
Well, that's part of keeping the dung on the top deck, is that then you could then just toss it overboard.
Easily scrape it off. Yeah, okay.
But I don't know. There's too many logistic questions to ask.
I love, though, that there are people who, again, have maths degrees who are like, okay, let's prove how impossible this is.
Can we say that dude lived 600 years ago?
No. I mean the ones doing the study in the UK that you said.
I think
that's pretty fun.
I think that's just one of those studies that people do to just be like, here's a goofy fucking thing we could study.
Yeah. Let's show how fun maths can really be. So sent the dove and the raven, and then God remembered Noah.
Which is I think the funniest day was just because it does feel like he just totally slipped his mind that he had flooded an entire planet and murdered everyone.
He was having so much fun doing all the murder that he was like, oh, I forgot.
So he's on the other side of the planet, just like looking at people holding onto pieces of wood and just flicking them off with his giant god hand. He just... I don't know. I mean, honestly, reading this story, it's like he could have been on the other side of the earth burning ants with a magnifying glass, because it just seems like he's a real sadistic dick. Anyway.
Yeah. Also, if he could mind control the animals to get on the boat and then off again, why, instead of flooding the whole thing, he could have just flooded up to a certain point and then mind controlled the animals to go and live at the top of the mountains, and then flooded to like halfway up there. Like, it seems like he really went the extra mile in terms of the destruction. And as you say, sadistic.
Yeah. I mean, you're trying to understand the logic of an all-knowing, all-seeing God.
Yeah, that's my bad.
I think your perception is too blinkered. You can only see Well, you're looking through a keyhole, Anna, and he's seen the whole picture.
That's true.
He knows that, like, this is how you do it.
So he knows that there is a real reason why he had to burn people's flesh, and that's something that we'll never fathom, but it's totally
This
legit.
is not some story made up by, people starving in a desert who were just trying to entertain each other, who got way out of control.
Sunstroke.
Yeah. So the ark...
I wonder if in 2,000-3,000 years' time, Harry Potter is going to be the religion. People will have found the books and treat it like the Bible, and it's just a story that got out of hand.
Yeah.
Especially because Harry Potter kind of is a rip-off of Jesus anyway.
Yeah.
So when I was a nanny for an academic, she was writing a book about Harry Potter and the literary influences on Rowling and stuff.
Harry Potter and the literary influences. That's the worst book.
That was not the title. The title was actually Hogwarts Library, which was quite fun, I thought. But she watched a lot of interviews and stuff, and apparently in an interview they asked J.K. Rowling, so you're a devout Christian, but you never talked about this before all the books came out.
And then out of nowhere, she was just like, all women have a vagina and all men have a penis. And they were like, that is not what we asked you about.
Because Jesus said so. No, they were like, what, so why didn't you ever talk about your faith before the last book came out? And she was like, well, because I didn't want to give away the ending. So she was literally admitting that, like, you know, the resurrection story in Harry Potter was just, like, lifted totally.
I don't know. I mean, it does start out with, like, somebody trying to kill a baby, which is Jesus.
Yeah, Herod.
It also starts with somebody failing to kill a baby, which, as somebody who's trying to keep a baby alive for a couple of weeks now, feels like it'd be very easy to do.
It's quite far-fetched.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I am actively trying as hard as I can to keep this baby alive, and it is work.
Hard work. Yeah.
Anyways, so the water subsided until the ark rested on the mountains of Ararat. Remember that phrase for later.
What, the mountains of Ararat?
The mountains of Ararat. On the 27th day of the second month of Noah's 601st year, the earth was dry. So a year later, the earth was dry.
Wait, so a year later.
The earth was totally dry. Noah built an altar and made a sacrifice, and God made a covenant with Noah that man would be allowed to eat every living thing, but not its blood. So eat whatever meat you want, but blood is gross.
No black pudding. Okay.
And God would never again destroy all life by a flood, which feels like some real lawyer.
That's a real get out, isn't it?
Language.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
I
won't destroy everything again. By a flood.
What was that last bit, God? Did you just kind of mumbled under your breath? What? Nothing. I just said I wasn't going to destroy anything.
I'll never destroy anything again by a flood.
God said, I will not again curse the ground anymore for man's sake, for the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth.
There's another one as well. It's like, but for women's sake.
Yeah. Oh, God's not going to do shit for women. Thank you very much. The Noahic covenant applies to all of humanity and all other living creatures. In this covenant with all living creature, God promises never again to destroy all life. I said that already. And creates a rainbow as a sign of this life. Everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh.
Wait, hang on. So you were saying about the lawyery stuff earlier. How does an animal enter into a covenant?
You know, I don't know.
Cat, lick your butt if you agree.
Yes, that is, every time a cat licks its own butt, much like the rainbow, it is a sign of God's covenant with man to never destroy the world again with water.
With a flood, yeah.
What was that you whispered really fast under your breath? So Noah was also given the 7 laws of Noah, which are set imperatives which, according to the Talmud, are given by God as a binding set of universal moral laws for the sons of Noah, that is to say, all of humanity. Yeah, everybody.
Yeah.
According to Jewish law, non-Jews or Gentiles like ourselves are not a me. Yeah, me. I guess me. Yeah. Sorry.
I don't know. I don't know where I count and where I don't.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, here's the great thing. So it says, according to Jewish law, non-Jews are not obligated to convert to Judaism. So, they're...
Wait, but hang on. But everyone was Noah's sons. Mm-hmm. So everyone was Jewish. Where did these Gentiles come from?
Well, they came from Christ. Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing. It's like they stopped being Jews when they started following Christianity or any other.
No, but obviously there were Gentiles before then.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. It's complicated.
Where did they come from?
I don't know. I think they're talking about this less as an ethnic distinction, like ethnically Jewish, as opposed to like actual followers of this faith.
Right, but if everyone came from 6 people, Noah's sons, they would have all been raised Jewish anyway, right?
Well, yeah, but then their ancestors kind of go off on different. We'll get into that. We'll get into what happens to the kids in a minute.
Sorry.
So yeah, it kind of.
Oh my God, there's more.
So non-Jews are not obligated to convert to Judaism, but they are required to observe the 7 laws of Noah to be assured a place in the world to come. The final reward for the righteous. So nice. So
you don't have to be a Jew, but you have to do everything that a Jew does.
You just have to follow 7 laws.
Okay, so not all the other ones.
I mean, it's basically like, hey, if you're cool, we'll let you into heaven. Whereas Christians are like, if you do not get baptized, you are shit out of luck. It doesn't matter how nice you are. You go to purgatory at best.
Fuck you. Yeah. Okay.
You weren't in the club, so you don't get to go. And the non-Jews that choose to follow the 7 laws of Noah are required as righteous Gentiles. So the 7 Noahide laws are traditionally enumerated as 1, not to worship idols. So
you can be a non-Jew, but you can't have any other religion.
I guess so, yeah. So as long as you don't have, I guess that's true. Or if you just don't have an idol-worshipping religion. I don't know.
But isn't an idol just a false god?
Perhaps.
So it's not like an actual physical idol. It's like any god that isn't Yahweh.
Oh, okay. So it says like you don't have to convert to Judaism, but you still need to be a Jew. That's what they're...
Well, you don't have to convert to Judaism, but you can't have any other religion.
Right. Okay. So
by the sounds of it, apart from Buddhism, I guess.
So that's us, right? Because we don't have any religion.
Yeah, we're righteous Gentiles.
So we're good.
Sure.
So we're good on number 1. Not to curse God. That's
Oh, I do that quite a lot, to be fair.
I feel like this means not... See, it's not saying not to take God's name in vain, which is what one of the 10 Commandments says. See, this is just saying not to curse God. So if we're just, like, not upset with God...
I mean, we have called him... I called him a genocidal maniac earlier. I've definitely been rude about him.
But I feel like that's not slanderous because it does feel...
It's all true.
I don't know. Maybe maniac is slanderous. Okay, so maybe we're a bit iffy on number 2. But I feel like number 3 we've got down pat. Number 3 is not to commit murder. So,
okay.
Cool.
We've never done any really good put downs of each other, so we haven't committed murder yet.
Well, yeah. And we've also never taken a human life. At least I haven't. So I don't know about you. But
what are you accusing me of?
Anything.
Yeah, I've never done that either.
Number 4 is not to commit adultery, bestiality, or sexual immorality.
What does sexual immorality cover? Because, me and Danny aren't married.
Right. And
it will come as a shock.
I don't know what immorality means in terms of if it's like certain positions are immoral. If it's like...
You can't do doggy style because then that's bestiality.
Yeah, that's basically bestiality. I mean, doggy style is a gateway to bestiality. It's right there in the name. But yeah, I mean, it's like, is mouse stuff immoral? Is butt stuff immoral? Like, I mean, there's a lot. I would kind of need to see numerous. I've never committed adultery. And I've never committed bestiality. But I've done some things which...
probably would be counted as sexual immorality.
It might make a few rabbis blush, is all I'm saying. So, not to steal.
Okay.
Well,
what are we counting as stealing? Like watching streaming films on illegitimate websites that you haven't paid for?
Well, I don't know if you saw those not to pirate PSAs in front of DVDs. You wouldn't steal a car, would you?
Yeah, but you would steal an hour and a half of entertainment.
Right. It's a generational thing, right?
Such a stupid argument.
I think generationally, most people, I don't know, whatever, man. They say that like people never snuck into movie theaters,
But also, you wouldn't colonize a country that wasn't yours. Do you know what I mean? It's like everyone does crime. Yeah. Crime is a social construct.
Life is crime.
I think we've been over this.
Anyways, so I used to be a really good shoplifter until I got caught. So I guess I wasn't that good. So I did do a bit of stealing, but I don't steal anymore. So it's like, I don't know. I guess it's like...
Yeah, but how many strikes do you get on this rule break?
See, that's the thing, right? Is it a thing where it's like, it's looking at you now or it's looking at your past?
Yeah.
So if I'm not stealing now, do I get to go to heaven? Or...
Any moment I'm not stealing.
Yeah. As long as you don't die while you're stealing, maybe. Okay, number 6 is not to eat flesh torn from a living animal, which...
Okay, I think I can manage that one.
I think, I'm choosing to read that as not
Who would do that? Oh my god. Yeah. I mean, I'm not even a vegetarian, and that idea is horrifying.
Yeah, you wouldn't eat just like a living, like just go up and sink your teeth into a cow, like just...
You wouldn't eat a raw live cow, so don't steal a movie.
You wouldn't eat a car.
Oh god.
So yeah, it's I think this is coming in with like the thing where they like don't drink blood, which is just mankind is forbidden to consume meat with the blood in it. So don't also eat raw steaks.
No steak. Yeah. Well, I mean, even cooked steak.
Yeah.
If it's not super well done, there's still a bit of blood. That's what makes it nice.
Yeah, well, that's what makes it sinful. That's what you mean.
Which sin tastes the best, as we all know.
I suppose so.
The forbidden fruit.
And the most forbidden fruit is to just run down a gazelle and then just bite into it.
Maybe it's connected to the bestiality thing. Like, you can't fuck animals, you can't impersonate their dietary habits.
Yeah. Just try to be like a human being. I mean, basically, these laws are like, hey, don't be a dick.
Be an asshole.
Or like a weird creep. The 7th one is probably going to be the hardest one for us to follow. Even more so than don't commit murder.
Okay.
And it is to establish courts of justice.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
So.
Okay. But if everyone establishes a court, then there's it sounds like there's going to be more courts than you actually need.
That's the problem with everybody having their own court of justice, is then at some point the idea of justice becomes so individualized that it becomes meaningless, right?
Yes.
So it does seem like you kind of need some kind of universal
central court.
sense of justice or arbiter of justice or morality. Not too much. I mean, I guess actually that sounds terrible to have a central arbiter of morality, because then people in power can justify anything, which will come up later. And but I do at the same time do not feel like I'm going to be establishing any kind of legal framework for myself or others.
Yeah.
And I don't foresee that as something, I mean, maybe a society crumbles and somehow I don't know how far society would have to crumble that somehow I'm on top.
The one establishing the laws.
That I'm suddenly the lawgiver. It's basically, these are the 7 laws.
It's a weird one. If you're going to set an impossible task, that's a weird one to choose as well. Because, like, clearly it's like, okay, these all sound reasonable. And then it's like, oh, hang on. This is just a way of keeping all the Gentiles out.
Well, no, it feels like it's a way of keeping everybody out. I mean, if it was something like maintain a sense of justice in the world or something like that, you could be like, okay, people can do that. People can
try to be a good person.
You can be like, okay, I'm going to maintain justice. Which I think is more what it is saying. Is like it's saying like...
No. We have to interpret everything literally.
Well, no, this is the Talmud. We can kind of have...
Cool.
We don't have to be quite as dogmatic about it. Anyways, God said to Noah and his sons, be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth. He also said that all the fowls of the land and the fishes would be afraid of them from now on. So, and furthermore,
that's a weird one to add in.
It's weird. I mean, well, because it's kind of like that in the Garden of Eden, right? So this is kind of...
fill the earth and subdue it.
He's basically just rereading the script from the Garden of Eden, which is,
But no one was around at that point, so he's like, oh, this is all new material.
Yeah, they don't know. Yeah, it's new to them. So yeah, because it was basically when they were in the Garden of Eden, the animals weren't afraid of Adam. But then after he was cast out, then there was that thing. It's the same thing with Enkidu, right? Where he was with the animals, and then all of a sudden he was cast out of paradise. So it is kind of like, it's kind of a good news, bad news. It's like bad news, all the animals are afraid of you. Good news, all the green plants and every moving thing would be your food. So you can eat whatever you want.
Unless it's blood.
With the exception of blood flesh that was not to be eaten. And he also said, whosoever sheddeth man's blood, by man shall have his blood shed. So
basically, if you're gonna cut someone, you gotta let them cut you.
Eye for an eye, that kind of thing.
That's fair.
A rainbow called my bow was given as the sign of the covenant made between me and you and every living creature that is for perpetual generations. This is God saying this. So God made the rainbow as a sign of his covenant with man, and then... Which
is interesting because, so there were no rainbows before.
No, apparently not.
So it never rained at the same time as it was
sunny. Just light didn't refract through water the way that it did.
That's a weird thing to introduce at
refraction.
That point. It's like, I've done over creation. I'm also gonna make some laws of physics.
It is, I mean, if you're starting over, you'll be like, also, couldn't water be more interesting? No, follow me on this one, guys. What if when you shine light through water, it makes colors? I know it's crazy, but I'm God. I'm do what I want. I made that platypus. Remember you guys were all like, don't make that platypus. And I'm like, I'm do what I want. Anyways. So after the flood, the Bible says that Noah became a farmer and he planted a vineyard and he drank wine made from the vineyard and he got drunk. So
none of the 7 laws said he couldn't do that.
There's nothing in them 7 laws. He's rereading this like, okay, don't eat flesh. Okay, cool. But drink as much wine as you want.
So fermented grapes, all good.
Nothing wrong with that. Ain't no rule against that. So, it's famously Noah got drunk. So as early as the classical era, commenters on this portion of Genesis have excused Noah's excessive drinking. They're basically enablers because he
went through a lot. He
went through a lot. That's not even the excuse. It's amazing. No, this is even better. Like, I would excuse it, be like, oh, he just saw millions of people die, some of whom were his friends, presumably. Also, his sons had wives, and presumably they had families who are also
dead. Their families died,
He has just seen, not only that, but he's seen a lot of dead animals. I guess, actually, I hadn't thought about this, but when you need to feed animals, right? Mm-hmm. Presumably, after everything's flooded, there are a shit ton of corpses of humans and animals just floating on the surface of the water.
Oh, God,
so you can just kind of get a long pole with a hook on the end, fish out unlimited meat. I think, if you just get a net and a pole with a big hook on it, the ocean is your smorgasbord at that point, because everything's dead and just floating on the surface.
Rotting sea meat.
I hadn't thought about this, but the smell must have been terrible.
Welcome to my brave new world. It's so stinky.
So bad. Also, when the floodwaters receded, that must have just like everything's covered in mud, so everything must have been kind of gross.
Yeah. But hey, I made a rainbow. Yeah, but everything else looks really bad.
Hey, great rainbow, God. God, can I just say, refraction, just Ace's idea. Love it. Could you do something about the mountains of corpses that litter literally every inch of the earth now that the floodwaters have receded? Is there anything we can do about that?
You'll figure it out.
Don't worry about it. It's like, you know what? I have figured it out, and it is that I am going to drink until I forget that I exist.
Well, that's allowed. It's in the rules. Go for
God's
it, Noah.
like, wait a minute, let
it.
me check the rule book. There's no rule that says you can't. So
could he have used some of the corpses as like compost to help the grapes grow?
That's what he did. Yeah.
Rotten corpse wine.
I mean, I've heard a lot of things. People talk about like hints and notes of things that in wine, but never like hints and notes of people. And people.
There are notes here of burning flesh.
Oh, does this taste a bit of sinner? Oh, nice.
And top notes of peach, just to cover it up.
So, as early as the classical era, commenters have excused Noah's excessive drinking because he was considered to be the first wine drinker. So he was the first person, hold on a second, he was the first person to discover the effects of wine, and he discovered it every day. I mean, that's the thing is like, so he discovers wine, right? Presumably after this. So it's like, he is like, I need to deal with what just happened. There's no such thing as therapy because, number one, anyone who might have been a therapist is now dead.
All the therapists are dead, yeah.
And also that doesn't exist as a science. And so he's just like, I'm just going to have to create something to blot out this image from my brain. Like he was like, it is kind of like necessity is the mother of invention, kind of at its purest form. It's just like
this like worldwide trauma is the mother of wine.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I have had so much trauma now. I need to fucking figure out a way to destroy my brain.
Forget. Okay.
So they are saying that Noah's behavior is defensible. As the first human to taste wine, he would not know its effect through ignorance and.
I mean, he would after like a day.
Yeah, well,
to be fair.
I mean, it's like you try it the first time, and you're like, oh, okay, and you're like, wait, maybe this was an isolated incident. Let me just keep. I mean, because anybody knows the mark of good science is repeatable results are the key to good scientific progress, and the Bible is nothing if not good scientific progress.
Scientific. True.
So John Chrysostom, the Archduke of Constantinople, said through ignorance and inexperience of the proper amount of drink, he fell into a drunken stupor. So he just didn't know, right?
Okay, that is an excuse for the first week. But after that, I think he knew what he was doing.
Let's just say maybe no.
But if he discovered wine, it's pretty impressive that he could keep growing grapes whilst drunk, to be fair. Credit where it's due. I could not organize a vineyard.
I guess this is before they had invented the phrase, don't get high on your own supply. So Noah didn't know.
Maybe Noah originated that phrase. By the time he's actually ready to die, presumably of liver disease, he'd be like, in my many years of having lived through the flood and everything that came after it, my one piece of advice, don't get high in your own supply.
That's Noah's 8th law. It's like, my final law to you, yea, do not get high upon thine own supply. Also, there's a Hellenistic Jewish philosopher named Philo who excused Noah by noting that one can drink in two different manners. One, to drink wine in excess, a peculiar sin to the vicious evil man, or two, to partake of wine as a wise man, Noah being the latter.
So basically you can drink as much as you like, as long as you're a wine snob.
Yeah, I mean, or I feel like this is basically like Philo is saying like, look, I can hold my liquor, all right? That's fine. Like, I can drink, it's fine. It doesn't affect me like it affects,
No, it's one of those classic things where it's like things that are classy if rich people do them, but trashy if poor people do them.
I mean, this is the thing with like prohibition where like, they outlawed alcohol and basically it's just like, well, if you're poor, you can't get alcohol, but if you're rich.
Made it expensive, yeah.
You never stop having access to alcohol. But it's just like, oh no, when the poor do it, they get drunk on gin and then cut each other up or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Ugh.
Anyways, the Jewish tradition and rabbinic literature of Noah, rabbis blame Satan for the intoxicating properties of wine. So there you go.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know how that.
Why didn't in this flood where he supposedly wiped out all the evil?
Right. The evil.
Could
people.
God not have? Yeah, but if Satan's still around, you know,
it does seem like
then it's like you're set up to fail, really.
It does feel like if Satan is a real thorn in God's side and God is omnipotent, it's like, why doesn't he just stop Satan?
Oh, because it's much more fun to wipe out the innocent people who've been tempted by
we're just looking
Satan.
at this through a keyhole, okay? We cannot see the big picture. Anyway, it does start to feel like God's powers are way over exaggerated. So in the context of Noah's drunkenness, in chapter 9 of Genesis relates two facts. One, Noah became drunken and he was, quote, uncovered within his tent. And two, his son Ham saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brethren outside. So...
Guys,
Guys,
Dad has a dick.
Guys, you will not believe whose dick I saw. Well, the three of us are here. There's only one other dick in creation right now. I mean, wait, did you see like an animal's penis? Because guess what, Ham? Not breaking news. We've been on a boat for 190 days with nothing but animal dicks. So
yeah, and you know, because they can't breed. Yeah. Presumably they're just going, the animals are going crazy.
I would have hated
as soon as they get off the boat. It's going to be like an animal orgy.
Yeah, I was going to say while they're on the boat, like just like, hey, when you're feeding the animals,
they would have been aroused the whole time.
Do not get too close to the male animals. They are horny AF.
Right. So Noah, to drink, he had to take off all his clothes.
I think he got drunk, and then, I don't know, maybe he's trying to get ready for bed, and then he passed out halfway through, and now he's just drunk, and he's naked or whatever.
And then,
I mean, part of me is kind of like, this feels like best life, just be able to get really drunk and just lay around.
But it's weird because, like, obviously he has no peers.
He's drinking alone, and that's a sign of a problem.
I mean, it's a shame that his wife couldn't, join him. But yeah, it wouldn't have been that fun, really.
Yeah.
So maybe he was just dedicated to the science.
So this story of how Ham saw his father's nakedness and told his brother, because it's brief and because of textual inconsistencies, it has been suggested that this narrative is part of a much larger tale. And that a fuller account explained why exactly. So the other thing is that because Ham told his brothers, his son was cursed.
Yeah. What?
His son.
That makes it weird. Noah, it wasn't weird until you made it weird.
Right.
You know? It's like, oh, you walked in on your dad naked. It happens. Fine. We'll all move on. But instead, it's like, you shouldn't have told anyone about that, and therefore I'm cursing your son. That then makes it weird. Do you know what I mean?
Right. But I mean, like, yeah. I mean, in fairness, you know, he didn't just tell anybody. He told a substantial population of the earth.
Yes, that's true.
Pretty much 100%, because I imagine those men told their wives as well.
Basically, like, selling the story to the press, yeah.
So, you know, you can't put the genie back in the bottle.
You can't put the dick back in the pants.
Exactly. So Ham's son Canaan was cursed because Ham saw the beans and then spilled the beans about the beans. What do you think about that? So a fuller account would explain what exactly Ham had done to his father, or why Noah had Canaan for Ham's misdeeds, or how Noah came to even know what occurred. Because,
but also, I mean, this is so like rape culture, victim blaming thing. It's like, really, if anyone was at fault, and as I said, it wasn't weird until they made it weird, but if it was something that was not meant to happen, then it was Noah having his penis out.
Right. Well, I mean, he's in a private space. Look, if I'm in my bedroom and I just want to have my penis out and flapping in the wind, right? Which I don't, because that's weird. But let's say I get really drunk, which is something I often do in my bedroom, and I pass out
by yourself,
and my pants fall down or whatever. And somebody comes in, and then like somebody who is not a member of my house comes in and sees that. Like, how's that my fault, right?
Well, but he is a member of you, because it would be if Tavish walked in.
Right, but I mean, like, they're adults, so presumably they have their own tents, right?
Okay. Yeah, but tent, I don't know. I feel like, when it's a campsite, it's not quite the same as, they just broke into your home.
Yeah, I don't know.
But also, again, like, people see each other's genitals sometimes.
Yeah, it happens.
we could just need to move on.
It's not that, I'm sure he wasn't, like, starting the day out, like, I'm going to go see Dad's genitals. Like, come on, man. I can see you're struggling with this, so let me help you with this, because so here is what biblical scholars think, okay? Some analysis of the unconventional behavior that occurs between Noah and Ham is theorized to be revolving around sexuality and the exposure of genitalia. Other commentaries mention that, quote, uncovering someone's nakedness could mean having sexual intercourse with that person or that person's spouse. So as quoted in Leviticus, so there's a passage in Leviticus that says something to the effect of, like, somebody had sex with somebody's wife and it uncovered his nakedness. His
like
nakedness,
cuckolding someone.
Yeah, his his nakedness
basically.
was his
vulnerability.
No, his wife.
Oh, okay. So right. So your wife is your property,
exactly.
and a noun and an object, and the object is nakedness.
Yes,
I got it.
You possess her. In addition to possessing her, you possess the right to see her naked. I think it's kind of
which belongs rightly to the husband.
Exactly.
Got it. Ugh, gross.
So from this interpretation, it can be deduced that Ham was guilty of engaging with incest and raping Noah or his own mother.
Okay, I take back what I said about
you.
it not being fair to curse Ham. Because
well, and then
gross.
So according to this, the latter interpretation, where he had sex with the mom, would make clear why Canaan was the product of an illicit union and was cursed by Noah.
Okay.
So this is
because obviously if it was him and his dad, then there could have been no cursed child.
Right.
Oh my god, cursed child! Another Harry Potter ripoff
right?
of the Bible.
Oh my god, is that what that's about?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
So here's a fun bit.
I don't really want to give TERFs money.
Yeah.
Just want to.
Yeah.
I feel like every episode we make a bold moral statement that shows how good people we are.
Really
Last time it was we're against the murder of 2-year-olds.
Yes.
This week,
we weren't just
don't want to give TERFs money.
We were against the murder of all children.
All living babies, yeah okay. And people.
And people, yeah.
But specifically from the context of that advert, 2-year-olds.
Yeah. So this is called The Curse of Ham. And the stories... yeah.
Sorry, it just sounds funny.
But sometimes when I fart, I call that The Curse of Ham. Am I right? Because it makes me gassy. Anyways.
But you're a vegetarian.
Yeah, it's a
doesn't
joke.
make
That's
sense.
a joke. Yeah. Anyways, so The Curse of Ham, the story's original purpose, so this is where the real fun comes in, is the story's original purpose may have been to justify the subjugation of the Canaanite people to the Israelis. But it gets better. But in later centuries, the narrative was interpreted by some Christians, Muslims, and Jews as an explanation for black skin, as well as justification for slavery.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I've also heard that said about the mark of Cain, because they talk about how when Cain killed Abel, he was expelled and he was given the mark of Cain by God, and some people say that's black
right
skin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
anyways, so
but hang on but sorry, again, all of humanity came from like 3 brothers,
right?
So there were cousins fucking. It's like, why is one incest worse than another?
Dude, it's your mom. Come on, that's gross.
Yeah, but it's your cousin.
It's his mom.
That's also gross.
Mom is way worse than cousin.
Well, it depends how fit your mum is versus your cousin, surely.
Anyways, let's get off this topic. Anyways, so the whole point of this was I just wanted to point out the
that's really
gross
bad
stuff.
We're also at the Saint Misbehaving / Ain't Mythbehaving podcast. We're also anti-racism
and anti-slavery in general.
Yeah.
So
not all heroes wear capes, but we just need to say that.
But these heroes have a podcast. So
wait, we're heroes as well as legends? Okay.
Yeah. So people use this as a justification for slavery. I mean, it's like if you do look at the thing is like when you look at like, okay, so everybody came from the same bloodline. How are there people with different skin tones? And it's like, must be a curse. Anyways, and since we're the dominant power of it, happen to all have this skin tone, then the other skin tone must be evil.
But we don't have the same skin tone because they would have been Middle Eastern
also true
people and therefore not white, so that
right. Well, I mean, this is like backwards reading, because I mean, this is the thing, right? Like, so people who are like justifying slavery, which is an unjustifiable
I guess would already
act,
be already kind of unhinged.
Well, I mean, which is only a justifiable act if you disregard oral morality and are like looking at things from a purely economic standpoint.
Which you do. No, hang on. But if God says that this must be the case, then it doesn't matter what feels right or wrong. Yeah. You just got to have faith. Because as you said, we're looking through the keyhole.
Right. So that's the thing, right? Is it's like, oh, we can justify this because God has cursed these people, and so they're lesser than us anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Jesus.
Yeah. So it's really fucked up and it's horrible, and it's one of those things where people go back and be like, it's basically cherry picking bits of the Bible, so you can be like, I can justify anything I want. Aha.
Yeah, which they do.
Yeah. So one last thing. Similarly, the Latter-day Saints, also known as the Mormons, use the curse of Ham to prevent the ordination of black men into its priesthood. priesthood.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. That was a thing that was in effect so when you're a Mormon man, you are a priest in the church. It's like
okay. So every Mormon man is a priest.
So, but it's more like, you become confirmed at some point. There's a process for it, and then you become like an adult in the church and you become a priest.
Okay.
When Mormonism started spreading to other countries and even within the United States, it started growing, and black people were like, oh, we like this church, we'd like to join. And they'd be like, great. And they'd be like, hey, I'm a dude, I would like to be a priest. And the Mormons would be like, sorry, fella, that's not able.
Because of Ham.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Let's check the old Ham book here.
Nice.
Thank you. Yeah, according to this, it says you can't be a priest. Why? No reason. I mean, biblical
Out
reason.
of my hands. I'm sorry.
Out of my hands. Wish I could do something about it.
I said hams.
Nice. But yeah, and then I think they took that back sometime in the late 70s.
Wow.
So it is now the case.
Which, to be fair, was like, there was still... It's just wild how recently, people who aren't straight cis white men have been legally recognized.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, but no, so this is, it's one of those things where they were just like, this is a bad look. We should probably... it's one of those things...
It took them a while, though.
It's one of those things where they're just like, this is getting less and less justifiable. And and it's just a bad look for us in the world. And so one of the elders of the church, whoever was running the church at the time, was like, oh, I had a revelation. Turns out we can now black members can be full members of the church.
Why doesn't the Pope just do that about homosexuality? Because surely he could just be like, I've chatted to God, and actually he says we've been getting it wrong this whole time. He has the authority to do that, and I feel like this Pope in particular is quite relatively progressive.
Is he? He's not.
Well, relatively.
Relatively.
He's still Catholic.
He's still the Pope.
Yes.
And while he has said many economic and environmental messages that I 100% agree
he also,
with,
was not in the Hitler Youth, unlike
that helps.
The previous Pope.
Don't hurt. Yeah. And, he seems like he has worked very hard on behalf of people of various economic backgrounds. And he does care a lot about the poor. He does care a lot about the environment, it seems. He does not seem to care very much about anybody on any kind of LGBT spectrum. And
right. But that's what I'm saying is that's probably I feel like he's a relatively good guy, and it could be that he just knows that would probably be untenable with his position, like how politicians compromise, I guess.
Possibly.
I'm just trying to, give him the benefit of the doubt, but maybe I'm being too generous.
I get he does seem like a good guy, and relative to the power structure that he
Other popes,
relative to the power structure that he is inherently maintains and is at the head of, he is certainly
okay, fair enough.
seemingly a much more in line with the kind of morality of today than his predecessors. At the same time, I don't necessarily have never gotten any indication from him that he seems to want to do anything about LGBT condemnation within his church, and I don't think that that's a battle it may be that you may be right that it may just be a fight he doesn't want to fight because he knows that.
But then I guess that in itself is problematic.
Yeah. Because he is the infallible head of the world's biggest religion, I think, still. And so it does seem like he's also an extremely public figure and basically a head of state. So his anything he could say about that would be amazing and helpful, I think, in the long run. But at the same time, what are you going to do? Anyways, so the Noah flood gave us slavery. Okay, so that's not fair.
I love that as well. It's like, so God sent this whole flood to get rid of evil. And then after that, slavery was introduced.
Well, see, that's the thing, right? So if everybody is virtuous, now, so you only save the virtuous people, then presumably everybody descended...
Apart from the rapist's son. Yeah.
Everybody who is presumably, came from that would be virtuous. And it's like, well, no, we need to have some villains. So, we have these people who are the descendants of evil people.
So again, God has fucked up because he chose 4... No, wait, how many was it?
8 people.
8 people. And one of them was a real wrong'un.
Yeah.
Again, I feel like... That would be the time when his fingers crossed, I'll never destroy everything again by flood. Yeah. He should have had another do-over, just kept trying.
Yeah, it's kind of the pettiness of human beings who are writing this and using this book to justify their own power structure.
Hatred.
Yeah. They're just like, I need to figure out a way to justify my political ambitions and my empirical desires. Imperial desires by couching it in the will of God.
Myth.
And then that way I can justify anything. Yay. Anyways, Noah died 350 years after the flood at the age of 950.
Nice. So he was drinking for 300 years.
Yeah, he got a real good drink on for 350 years. I mean, it's probably one of those things where it's just like he's at a certain age and he's like, yeah, I know drinking's bad for me, but I'm just like, whatever. I'm going to die soon. Cut to 350 years later. It's like, ooh. Anyways, but yeah, imagine how long he would have lived if he hadn't been drinking, right?
Unsustainable.
Yeah. I mean, if you scale this down, like when I'm 60, I'm probably just going to be drunk all the time.
Yeah.
And then if I live another 35 years, that's pretty good. Because at 60, my kid will be 18, so he'll be out of the house, so I can just do whatever I want. So he's the last of the extremely long-lived antediluvian patriarchs. The maximum human lifespan is depicted by the Bible gradually diminishes thereafter, from almost 1,000 years to just 120 years of Moses. So Moses only lived 120 years. Yeah, I know.
See, he did die. Okay. I told you.
You're right. God, it was in my own research, and I didn't realize. He's just on the mountain. Shut up. Which 120 years, I mean, to go down from 1,000 to 120 does feel like a drop, but 120 at this point feels pretty
still
big.
Quite long. Yeah.
And in all, there are at least 5 locations in different countries that claim to be the tomb of Noah.
Oh.
So yeah, which at least 5 in Azerbaijan, Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, and Turkey.
Which of those has the most wine?
Ooh, good question. Well, I think
because that's probably where it actually
I'm going to guess Armenia because the rest of those are majority Muslim nations, and so I would imagine would be short on wine.
Yes, or just Noah drank it all.
Maybe. Okay, so here, do you want to hear about some crazy people?
More crazy people?
Yeah. Do you want to hear about some modern day crazy people?
Yes, please.
So, where is the ark now? Is the big question, right?
Well, it was made of wood.
No.
So, presumably, just in the ground.
Yeah, it just like dissolved into soil.
Yeah, like all other trees.
Yeah. So, according to the Bible, Noah's Ark landed on the, quote, mountains of Ararat.
Okay.
Many historians and biblical scholars agree that Ararat is just a Hebrew name of what is the geographical predecessor to Armenia. So this is just the mountains of Ararat is just like a big space in the nation of Armenia, right? Which is northeast of Turkey, modern-day Turkey, right?
Okay.
They argue that the word referred to a wider region at the time, not specifically to Mount Ararat, which is an actual mountain in eastern Turkey.
Okay.
So there is a Mount Ararat. It's a big old volcanic mountain in eastern Turkey. So nevertheless, Mount Ararat is traditionally considered to be the resting place of Noah's Ark.
So even though
yeah, so
another contradiction.
Yeah, kind of inconsistently with what we've seen in this story so far. Despite all evidence to the contrary, people have decided that this is what happened.
Sure.
Despite what is written in the book.
Wait. So again, you're saying that it doesn't matter what's actually there. People claim to interpret it literally and completely ignore it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Ararat has traditionally been the main focus of the search for Noah's Ark. Augustine Clement wrote in his 1722 biblical dictionary, it is affirmed, but without proof, that there are still remains of Noah's Ark on the top of the mountain. So
I love it when things are affirmed without proof.
Yeah. Archaeological expeditions, sometimes supported by evangelical and millennial churches, have been conducted since the 19th century in search of the Ark. According to a 1974 book, around 200 people from more than 20 countries claim to have seen the Ark on Ararat since 1856. A fragment of the Ark is supposedly found on Ararat is on display in a church in Armenia. Despite numerous reports of Ark sightings and rumors, quote, no scientific evidence of the Ark has emerged. Searches for Noah's Ark are considered by scholars an example of pseudo-archaeology. This is the best quote.
Because Noah probably, almost certainly didn't exist.
Certainly, yeah. I mean, maybe there was a guy who started building a giant boat, but then he probably died before he finished it.
Yeah.
So this is a good quote. Ted Feder, I don't know who that is, said, as the flood story itself is unsupported by archaeological evidence, it is not surprising there is no archaeological evidence for the existence of an impossibly large boat dating to 5,000 years ago. The first recorded ascent of Ararat was led by French Parrot.
Sorry, a French parrot.
Was led by Frederick Parrot in 1829. In his account of the expedition, Parrot wrote that all Armenians are firmly... Sorry, I should say it the right way. All Armenians are firmly persuaded that Noah's Ark remains... all Armenians are firmly persuaded that Noah's Ark remains to the very top of Ararat, and in order to preserve it, no human beings are allowed to approach it. James Bryce scaled Ararat in 1876. He discovered a piece of wood about 4 feet long and 5 inches thick.
Well, that's proof.
Evidently cut by some tool, and so far above the limit of the trees that it could by no possible means be a natural fragment of one. Bryce cut off a portion of the wood to keep, and later argued that it might plausibly be a remnant of Noah's Ark, although he admitted another explanation for the wood had occurred to him, but he was determined that no man is bound to discredit his own relic. So it's like, you can't make me say
Which is something we can all live by.
Yeah, there's a whole Wikipedia page on the searches for Noah's Ark. It's basically people in evangelical circles who want to prove that, that the Bible's real.
They want a fun hiking holiday to the Middle East, and they want people at their church to pay for it.
Yeah, pretty much. And also, apparently the government of Turkey doesn't like this. And I think also...
That's missing a trick. They could definitely cash in tourism-wise.
I think it's not an easy to climb mountain.
Monetize.
No, I think that the mountain, it's like a dangerous thing. They're like, please don't. It's not...
They have to spend loads of money rescuing people.
Yeah, it's like, and it's just really annoying if you do this,
Just get off our mountain.
There are people who believe that the governments of Turkey, Russia, and the United States know exactly where the ark is.
Hiding it. Oh, of course.
But they're hiding it. There's a thing called the Ararat anomaly, which is an object appearing on photographs in the snowfields near the summit of Mount Ararat, Turkey, which is advanced by some Christians as being the remains of Noah's Ark. There's just a vaguely boat-shaped blob in old photos and some satellite images that is,
Couldn't anything be argued to be vaguely boat-shaped?
That's fair.
If you believe hard enough.
That's true, yeah. All you have to do is believe, and anything could be a boat.
Oh, people. They're the worst.
Yeah, and so Mount Ararat, by the way, is a volcano. It's an inactive volcano. But
wait, so it would have been
Yeah.
There's no way wood would survive there anyway.
Yeah, if there's one thing that lava hates, it's fucking wood. It's like, or vice versa. It's just like, and according to this, there's probably been eruptions around 2500 BC, 550 BC, 1450 AD, 1783 AD, and definitely there was one in 1840.
So we're due another one quite soon.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like there are eruptions that happen there not fairly recently, but there have been major eruptions that have so in 1840 up to 10,000 people in the region died. In the earthquake. In the earthquake, but it caused a magnitude 7.4 earthquake.
Wow. Especially 10,000 people to be living near a volcano in those times when things were less populated anyway.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But yeah, it's basically if it existed there, the volcano has certainly destroyed it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
God,
but
people are so insane.
But yeah, there is just a whole, I recommend the searches page. There's just too many nuts. Weird people, supposedly alleged Russian expositions to it. Oh, there's one of the saddest ones is a man named James Irwin, who was the 8th person to walk on the moon. He was an astronaut, and apparently
he became a Noah nut.
And then when he got back from the moon, he apparently went kind of crazy, and or he got extremely religious and tried to go to Mount Ararat multiple times, including one time when he was almost killed in a landslide. And
oh my God.
They, Kurdish rebels.
I've seen the moon, but what I would like to see is Noah's Ark.
Yeah, it's really just, I don't know, and it's kind of sad. You're just like, no, you went crazy for going to the moon.
Yeah.
So also a fun page on Wikipedia is the Noah's Ark replicas and derivatives. There are 3 full-scale Noah's Ark.
Full-sized.
Yeah. Full size is upwards of 150 meters, so between 440 and 500 feet in length.
Just imagine what could be achieved if these people put their money and energy towards something helpful.
Well, that's the thing is so one of these I knew about. I didn't realize there were 3. I knew there was one because I knew about one in Kentucky.
Got to be 3. Rule of 3.
Yeah.
The Trinity.
When I lived in Tennessee, there was talk of one in Kentucky that they were building, and it was this huge boondoggle. And also, like, the government had somehow the government of Kentucky had subsidized this or like given them tax breaks, and it was kind of a big scandal because people were like, "Why the fuck are you spending tax money on a ark that then has like exhibits that say like, oh, and here's where the dinosaurs were kept?" Because no, man.
Amazing.
There's one in Hong Kong.
Okay.
And there is one in the Netherlands, and the one in the Netherlands is carried on a platform made out of 25 barges and is the only full-scale ark interpretation
that floats.
That actually floats. Yeah, and it doesn't float
amazing.
on its own. It floats on top of.
It's just sat on some boats.
Yeah, and it can actually move.
Wow.
I guess theoretically it can move. There are several other smaller scale ones. Some partial replicas you can go and see. I would not go to any of these because I don't think you really want to support the people who make them.
No.
They're just putting out bad information in the world.
At least Elon Musk and his insane plans, at least he's pretending and there will probably be some good consequences of technology advancing, and that kind of helps people a little bit.
Yeah.
But this is just pure waste and nonsense.
Yeah, it's for hope.
And if there's one thing that we hate at this comedy podcast, it's nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, I often say that I do like when rich people do crazy things with their money, but this is actively harmful because it's like putting out bad. Because it's not even just like, hey, here's an ark and it's kind of fun. You're like, here's an ark and let us tell you why dinosaurs didn't exist or like existed at the same.
Yeah, place. And here's an ark, and also the reason why there are black people and slaves.
Yeah. Oh, Greenpeace built a 10 by 4 by 4 meter replica of the ark on Mount Ararat in 2007 to warn people about impending climate disaster.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's an okay one. Oh, we like that replica.
Here it is. One of my favorites was under the defunct heading. Noah's Ark restaurant in St. Charles, Missouri was an ark-shaped restaurant. It was later torn down. Torn down in 2007. Yeah, so we can't go and eat it. Noah's Ark.
I would hope that restaurant, you could eat any kind of animal meat there.
I feel like that was the gimmick. Yeah, it must have been like, but you have to eat 2 of them. So
yeah.
You have to eat 2 whole.
But then also the toilets were just the basement.
Yeah.
There was no sewage system.
Well, in some interpretations, the toilet was the roof, and you just have to throw your poop off the top.
That's a really fun theme for a restaurant. I think we should start a Noah's Ark restaurant.
Yeah. As a vegetarian, I can't really get behind that, but.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. What if it was just corn shaped into 70,000 animals?
I like the idea that you make corn and you can have it shaped into any animal before you eat it, but it all tastes the same. But it's like, hey, but it looks like a puffin. Isn't that fun?
Yeah. That would be much less harmful as well.
I think so too. Yeah, I like that. But the amount of different shapes of presses to press things into, or would people be molding these by hand? We really need to think this through. We'll talk about this off mic. Anna, what do you think of this tale? Was it sufficiently epic?
I guess it was epic. I mean, just from how much wine he was able to drink and live 300 years, that in itself is legendary.
The drinking was legendary, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
Also, making a boat when you're 500. It is legendary. It's just none of it is credible or makes any sense.
All the more reason why it's legend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree that the people don't talk enough about what an absolute lad Noah was and what a partier he was. He could just house wine all day long, and he never got sick.
Yeah, and he was a one-guy party as well.
Maybe I'm like a modern-day Noah because I don't get hangovers. So I can drink as much wine as I want. Maybe I'll have 354 more years. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe that wouldn't be the best.
No, probably not. We just need to traumatize you a bit more first.
Yeah. But yeah, and Noah, survivor of trauma. People don't talk about that enough. Like that's not a thing that gets talked about enough.
Yeah, maybe they should, I don't know, make him the symbol of some PTSD charity or something.
Yeah. Survivor's guilt.
Just be like, yeah.
Anyways, but Anna, thanks so much for joining me today and listening to this rambling
thank you for
story.
Telling me about this.
Yeah. Now you know all about floods. We never have to discuss floods ever again.
Okay.
All right. It's Noah.
I'll try not to get excited if there's any other references.
Right. No other myths I'm going to bring up are going to involve floods.
That makes it sound very much like next time you're going to talk about floods as well.
Actually, there were 2 things I didn't mention. There's at least one more flood myth that I didn't mention that comes up in Ovid's Metamorphosis, where Jupiter floods the earth.
Okay.
But I'll tell you this one really briefly, and then we'll go.
Okay.
Jupiter decided to flood the earth. All the other gods were like, "Is this a good idea?" And he's like, "Who's the king of the gods?" And they were like, "You are Jupiter." And so he floods the earth. Doesn't save anybody. Like nobody's out there like being like, "Hey, let's save a few people."
That's interesting. It takes a special kind of asshole to make Yahweh have the moral high ground there.
But a man and a woman do happen to survive, and because
that's more impressive.
Yeah.
They didn't get any warning.
No warning, no heads up. I don't know. Somehow they made it. I assume by like floating on a mountain of corpses. That were their
They just kept stacking them up and just climbed to the top.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel like that's how anybody who's surviving. It's like when you watch a zombie apocalypse movie, it's like, oh, the only people who are surviving this are the worst. So
yeah,
these two people survive. Jupiter is impressed by their piety or their religious devotion and says, "You can live. It's fine. Go repopulate the earth." And they do so by
just the two of them.
Yeah. Well, and you're like, that doesn't seem like, it seems like that'd be tough for people to do. And it's because you don't understand how babies are made. And they do this by walking along and throwing stones over their shoulders. And when the stones hit the ground, they turn into people.
Are you saying every time I've thrown a stone, I've accidentally fathered a bastard?
Just over your shoulder, but yes.
Okay.
So,
I've got to be more careful.
Yeah, we all do. Okay, so that's the last flood myth I'm going to bring up ever again on this podcast, unless I find another one, and then I'll torture you with that. Thanks, Anna, for sticking around, and everybody have an epic day.
An epic day. Cool. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.